The initial impetus behind this report was the controversy that occurred at the College of DuPage over the last several months, where it was found that the president of the university was paid, I think, in what anyone would term an excessive severance package. And there were some investigative reporters and some members of that board that raised a lot of concerns about how exactly the Community College Board handled the situation, and pointed to the fact that they didn't really follow the spirit of a lot of laws in place regarding open meetings and other transparency issues. So that really created quite a stir in the western suburbs of Chicago. And there were previous similar incidents that had happened at other colleges and universities. So we felt that the subcommittee's work was necessary, and the report resulted from that work. Well, I think there's two things that really sort of stick out. One is we see a number of college presidents and universities receiving overly generous perks. Most of them are paid very good salaries, and they deserve those salaries. They work hard, and we want our colleges and universities to be competitive. But on average, they make somewhere close to $300,000 a year. And it's my feeling, I think the feeling of a lot of taxpayers and tuition payers, that if you're earning that level of salary, that you probably should be able to afford your own country club membership, and you should be able to afford some of the other perks that come along with the job, and they shouldn't be paid for by the taxpayers and by the individuals who pay tuition to the institution. So that was number one, excessive perks, particularly in this time of financial austerity. I think that was the first thing that sort of stuck out. The other thing is the report found a lot of growth in administrative staff positions at colleges and universities around the state. Now there's some new requirements that have been from the federal government handed down from universities, and they've needed to address those in some cases by hiring more administrative staff. But what the report found was that in one recent 5 or 6 year period, the number of administrative employees at colleges and universities in Illinois increased by more than a third. That is a massive growth of non-instructional personnel at our institutions of public higher education. And I think that that's something we need to look into going into the future, and something that we need to hold the college and universities' feet to the fire on, and we hope this report does that. Well, the report's made a few recommendations, and the committee will hold hearings into those recommendations. There's also been a number of members of both the House and the Senate who have proposed bills to help deal with these problems, and we will have hearings on those bills. I think there are some things that we can do statutorily to address these problems. There are things that we can put in place to ensure that there's more transparency and that these institutions are following rules and regulations involving open meetings, for example. I think we also can bring in the state auditor when it comes to community colleges. State universities are now audited by the state auditor general. Community colleges are not. I think it's time that we have uniformity across higher education and make sure that there are some outside eyes monitoring what goes on at these universities. So that's something that we can definitely do statutorily. And I think that's one of the proposals that we'll discuss in the subcommittee.